All-Pro Eddie Jackson is set to take a free agent visit with the Baltimore Ravens today. We'll tell you all about it, the possibility of bringing Eddie Jackson to Baltimore coming up on this edition of Ravens Rundown, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. Flock, we're almost there. Just 36 subscribers away from 17,000 here on the channel as we bring you daily news and rumors. We also have our Q&A mailbags, breaking news, and more. If the Ravens were to sign a guy like Eddie Jackson, for example, we're going to bring you a video as quick as we can here on the channel. The latest happenings on your Baltimore Ravens all offseason long, where there is no offseason, is right here on Ravens Rundown. Subscribe now for free. Join the family, youtube.com/RavensTV to subscribe now, and we'll get started with today's show. According to reports, the Ravens are set to meet with free agent safety Eddie Jackson on Wednesday. Jackson, a former All-Pro and Pro Bowler, was recently let go by the Chicago Bears, and he's still waiting to hear his name called to find a home for 2024. We know that it's no secret the Ravens have been in the safety market for the last couple of months, as they haven't found an obvious replacement for Geno Stone just yet. They've seen Ardarius Washington step up and play pretty well throughout the offseason, but they certainly have kept their eyes peeled on their options. We know about Jamal Adams, the visit that he had a couple months ago. He ultimately ended up signing with Tennessee. And Eddie Jackson, a player that we talked about on this channel last month, now comes into the picture. Here's more from MLF Football, tweeting out the following. Breaking, All-Pro safety Eddie Jackson plans on meeting with the Baltimore Ravens on Wednesday. League sources tell MLF Football. I'm told that it is very likely that the two-time Pro Bowler does not leave without a contract. Now, I will say, I think it's just doing our due diligence for the audience out there that MLF Football does not have the best track record when it comes to reporting anything major in the National Football League, and there's not a ton of people out there talking about the Ravens and Eddie Jackson outside of MLF Football. So it is a little questionable. We're still waiting on some more Ravens-verified sources to confirm this, so it's a little bit questionable just because we don't have a ton of information on this right now. If it is true, though, that the Ravens are looking at signing Eddie Jackson, then I love the idea for this Baltimore Ravens team. To me, this makes a ton of sense. You're not going to find a safety out there right now in free agency with a better track record than Eddie Jackson, a 2017 fourth-round pick out of Alabama, previously with the Chicago Bears, was a first-team All-Pro back in 2018, a two-time Pro Bowler in 2018 and 2019. But we've seen as of late, Eddie Jackson take a step back, if you will. He hasn't been the same player that he once was, and that's okay. The Ravens aren't expecting him to be the All-Pro player that he was a few years ago. You look at the statistics. Last season, he had just one interception, 37 tackles, 5 pass breakups. 2022 was good. 80 tackles, 6 pass breakups, 4 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles. If they could get the 2022 version of Eddie Jackson, they would be thrilled, quite frankly. You look at the coverage stats of what he did last year, left a lot to be desired. A quarterback rating of 121, 5 pass breakups, 1 interception, gave up 3 touchdowns, 203 yards, a completion percentage of about 67% allowed. So not great numbers for Eddie Jackson. The Ravens, with potentially making this signing, are going to want more out of him like we saw in 2022. Let's ask you now, should the Ravens sign Eddie Jackson? Your chance to be EDC here on today's program. Type S for sign, P for pass, weigh in, and let us know what you think. To me, I break it down this way. Eddie Jackson is a serviceable veteran safety who is cheap and fills a position of need. The Baltimore Ravens, although safety is not your highest priority, you do need to go find somebody because we know that the Ravens are going to want to run 3 high safety looks, and although Ardarius Washington's been solid this offseason, you still need another potentially because you're going to need depth to do 3 safeties at times. So I get a serviceable veteran that's been a Pro Bowler, and I get him at a cheap cost, a vet minimum deal, if you will. This is an easy decision. if you're the Baltimore Ravens to bring in Eddie Jackson. If he's healthy, he's ready to go, why not? And think about this, too. Jackson's a former teammate of Roquan Smith. These two go way back when Roquan was with the Chicago Bears and have been great friends ever since. And according to reports, Roquan has been recruiting Eddie Jackson to the Baltimore Ravens, that he's made it known that he wants Eddie Jackson to come to Baltimore and that he wants the Ravens to sign Eddie Jackson, that he thinks that Jackson would be a good fit for the Ravens defense and to get the band back together, if you will. The two have a great relationship. They've been very good friends for a long time, so no reason to think it wouldn't carry over. And you think about it, it's for this Baltimore Ravens team, you need 3 serviceable safeties. We don't know if Ardarius Washington is serviceable just yet. He very well may be, but we don't know that for certain. We know that Kyle Hamilton's a superstar. We know that Marcus Williams is one of the best at his position. But if the Ravens are going to play 3 safeties, if they're going to need depth pieces, they're going to need more than that. Ardarius Washington, I'm more than happy with him being the number 4 safety and still get plenty of playing time. Add Eddie Jackson, now we're cooking with bacon grease, and the Ravens can breathe a sigh of relief, if you will. Paul Banks of Ravens Wire had the following to say on Eddie Jackson and the idea of bringing him to the Ravens. Jackson makes sense as a pre-start of training camp signing to fill depth in the secondary. Safety is not Baltimore's top position of need right now, but they need depth there. Jackson would certainly provide that, and if he can be signed on a cost-effective deal, this would prove to be an astute signing. You're not getting the all-pro version, Eddie Jackson, of what he was a few years ago, but this is a solid number 3 if you're the Baltimore Ravens, and that's all you're asking for. Look, sometimes you're not always going to get a home run. You just need to get on base and get a single or settle for a walk. That's the signing of Eddie Jackson here. This is getting on base with your defense. You're trying to keep up with the Joneses. See what I did there? If you will, in the AFC, with trying to compete with Kansas City and company. This gets you another step closer as far as that goes. With training camp just around the corner, the official start when the players take the field, who is somebody else that the Ravens should add besides Eddie Jackson out there? Who comes to mind? Well, in the comments section, let us know what you think. For continuing Baltimore Ravens coverage, subscribe now to a Ravens Rundown, your training camp headquarters. We got you covered each and every day. YouTube.com/RavensTV. I'm Tyler Jones. We will see you next time right here on the channel.